back to another interview here on Toned In Entertainment. Today we're at Ignite Wrestling in Vero Beach at the Walking Tree Brewery. And I'm joined by none other than Aron Agony.
Yeah, Aron Agony, there you go. What's
How
up,
you
man?
doing,
I'm doing great, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you. You know,
man.
we ran into each other last week.
Yep.
I'm knocking the microphone
There you go.
over. You know, I'm so excited just to be talking
That's all
to you.
good.
Yeah. So, Aron, one of the questions I want to ask everybody, you know, we're here at an independent wrestling show at Ignite Wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why is it important for people to come out to shows like this?
Man, that's a great question. Okay, so first and foremost, everybody likes TV wrestling. Well, if you're a wrestling fan, you like TV wrestling. All of those guys started here at the independent level. So if you want to support those guys, if you want to, I mean, how many people do you think saw Daniel Bryanson, or Bryan Danielson? Daniel Bryan?
Yeah, we know.
You know, all of those big indie guys, CM Punk, Samoa Joe, all of those guys, they started here first, made a name for themselves, and then moved their way up. So I think personally it's really cool. I know a lot of people, I mean, hopefully one day I'll make it, somewhere, but, all those little people that help buy merch, help do stuff, it all snowballs, man. And I think that's why a really big important reason to catch independent pro wrestling. Ignite's a lot of fun. This is only my second show, but I have a blast every time. They treat the wrestlers great. They treat the fans great. Couldn't be at a better place. So.
Right. Now, who are some of your influences to get into professional wrestling?
It might be a little obvious if you look at the way I wrestled, but Jericho was a huge inspiration to me. I kind of tried to not just blatantly take stuff from people, but the Lion Salt's just kind of one of those things that's kind of like a tribute to Jericho,
Okay.
But Shawn Michaels, huge inspiration also, but I think a lot more of like personality-wise and like character-wise, When I was growing up, Rey Mysterio, I really loved the SmackDown like 2004 like cruiserweight division. Yeah, man, and that's when I really started watching wrestling because wrestling was like always around, but it wasn't like every day, every week I was watching. It wasn't until like the 2005 area or 2004 area that I started watching, and Matt Hardy at the time, like I said, Rey Mysterio, Paul London, Brian Kendrick, Billy Kidman, all of those guys were, the Shooting Star Press, you know what I mean? Like, all of those guys were huge inspirations to me because I see small guys, out there killing it, going out there and having these great matches. And I'm like, wow, I've always been a kind of small guy. I've had a background in gymnastics and like all the flips kind of come natural to me. So I was like, wow, I can see two small guys going out there and just tearing the house down, and I remember like vividly, I saw a random SmackDown. It's Rey Mysterio versus Spike Dudley for the Cruiserweight Championship, and it was the Dudley boys turned on, or the Dudley boys were like heel, and Spike was like, I don't want your guys' help, and they helped him win the title and stuff like that, and I was like, man, you get to see Rey Mysterio, this small dude, and Spike Dudley, and they went out and they had a killer match, and to me, this little minuscule, it wasn't like a pay-per-view match or anything, it was just like this small match, and I was like, wow, that's cool, I really want to try that, and here I am, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's, the comparison there, Also a huge inspiration was the Hurricane, Shane Helms.
Okay.
I would be remiss if I don't mention him. He'll probably get mad if I don't mention him. But he's been another guy because, he was the Hurricane and he was a character and he had all this personality. And then, boom, he switched to Gregory Helms. And here's this serious guy that's like no gimmicks, no character. I'm going to go out there and outwork everybody. Longest reigning Cruiserweight champion later, So it's like those guys are like awesome. Like not just a small guy, but a small guy who can do something different. And I think that's really what I gravitated towards,
Can you tell me, if you can remember, the first day that you went to wrestling school, what were the thoughts that were going through your head before you actually walked into that gymnasium or facility?
Right. Okay, so I'm from Homestead, Florida, which is super, super south, like as south as you can get before you hit the Keys.
I'm in Miami. I know where it's at.
You're aware.
Nosberry Farms, everything.
Yeah, Nosberry Farms, exactly. So yeah, when I first started training, I was like, there was no schools around me. It was like, oh, what do I do, And I didn't have, $6,000 or whatever to go to a, prestigious school, super like, and so I looked up my closest school, and it was Rusty Brooks Rusty Brooks School of Hard Knocks.
Okay.
And Rusty, if you guys don't know, if you weren't trained by Rusty in Florida, you're probably trained by someone who was trained by Rusty. So, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I was just, here's the nearest school that's affordable. Still, I mean, you have to pay, but it's still affordable. So I actually completely relocated and I moved to Hollywood. My grandparents ended up having a place, 2 exits away. So I just relocated and I started my whole life over to pursue professional wrestling. So my first time walking in was just, I mean, here I am, you know. It wasn't like, oh no, it was just, here we go, let's go, you know. And all of the roles and stuff that, you know, we learned in the beginning kind of came second nature. Like I said, I had a background in gymnastics, so that stuff was really easy for me. I mean, it was in a backyard, and you know, the ring was a little run down, but the way I look at it is like, if you really wanted it and if you really loved professional wrestling, that's not something that's going to deter you. You said, I'm here to put in the work, and you know, and that's what I did. So couldn't be more, you know, thankful for Rusty. Rest in peace. He was a great guy, you know. And yeah, if that answers your question.
Yeah,
so
no,
I'll give you really long-winded questions.
It's okay.
But
we
yeah.
have 30 minutes of time.
Yeah, sure.
Here.
Oh, awesome.
We got time.
YouTube time.
Exactly. We got YouTube time. I mean, the camera runs for 30, but we're good. We're good to go. You know, Rusty Brooks, R.I.P. Definitely. He was one of my dad's favorite wrestlers. You know, growing up.
Yeah.
Him wrestling Hulk Hogan and guys like that. It's just like, you know, he was such a. I don't know. He wasn't seen as like a main event guy, but like just a very important role in the wrestling world.
Hey man, well the thing is, the Hulk Hogans, the Andre the Giants, the Ric Flairs, those guys were built on the jobbers of the era. You know what I mean? And Rusty was out there with all of them. You know, so a lot of people, I'm like, oh, I was trained by Rusty Brooks, and people are like, okay, well, who's that? And I can show them pictures. Here's him with Andre. Here's him with Hogan. And people are like, oh, okay, you know, because like you said, not a lot of people know those names, but I mean, you know, those guys are what put the time back into the business. You know what I mean? How many guys were trained by Hulk Hogan? How many guys are trained by Ric Flair?
Yeah.
I mean, how many guys are trained by Rusty? You know what I mean? So I mean, you know, not to throw any mud or anything like that, but that just goes to show you, you know, those are the guys with the passion. Those are the guys who are like, yeah, that's my job, is to be here and make you look good. And then at the end of the day, we both make each other look good. And I think that's something he's imparted on me. When I go out there and I wrestle, it's not just the Aron Agony show. You know, I'm out there with someone else, and we're trying to make it look like, obviously, that we're neck and neck. You know, if you just beat me flat easy, then it makes you look that much higher, and vice versa. So that's one thing, if anything, one thing Rusty really imparted on me was go out there and make your opponent look just as good as yourself. So, which is what's the most important thing. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, take care of each other and make each other look good, and you both can thrive from there. And it works for me because people want to work me. Well, that's, you know what I mean? That's so important. Like, oh, I want to work with that guy. Like, absolutely, put me in there, coach. Right. You know, so yeah, definitely. Now, when you're not wrestling, when you're not training, what are some of the things you like to do for fun? Oh man, I do the vest. I do a lot of little creative things. I'm the kind of person like. When I watch wrestling, you know, I watch Dark, I watch Elevation, I watch Rampage, I watch all that stuff, and my fingers are working. You know, like all of the stitches that you see, I'm sitting there watching wrestling while I'm stitching, you know what I mean? So I like to stay busy, I like to multitask. I understand not a lot of people can do that, you know, but, you know, I make a lot of costumes for FSCW, Fantasy Super Cosplay Wrestling. You know, recently I did a costume Proctor Zero. I managed Leon Scott here at Ignite Wrestling. That's me. So that's you. Yeah, that's me behind. I had no idea who was in that. Yes, outfit. Exactly. Oh You're not supposed to know. No one's supposed to know. I was like, who is this guy? Who's this guy? You know, like, why isn't he getting no love? Yeah, it's Aron Agony. It's Aron Agony. You know, just getting no love. It's what Aron Agony does. We're learning some secrets here today. Yeah, all the secrets. And you know, that was something that Leon has this cool character and he has this presence. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool if you just had like a measly little sidekick that did all the talking? Right, from like the wasteland coming out. Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah. You know, like I like to compare it like I'm C-3PO and he's Jabba the Hutt. You know what I mean? Like he's the boss. Is he okay with you Jabba the Hutt? I don't know if he's okay with me saying that. He's right over there. He's over there. Dude. Yeah. But you know, like I'm the translator. He does all the grunting and all the pointing. And I automatically know exactly what he means by doing it. You know, and that was something I just approached him and I was like, hey, I had this cool idea for a character with the gas mask and the hat and you know, and he was just like, let's do it. And I just, you know, I gun ho. So if you guys might not know, but if you've seen it, there's a gas mask that has lights on the inside. There's also a microphone that plugs into my PA system, and I have a fan that's built in that's funneling air into the mask. So like a hot show like today, I have air, you know, breathing in, you know, because all I've got is a tube and a rubber mask. Right. So yeah, and I like those little creative things like building that kind of stuff, and you know, anything that can kind of occupy my time. Right. In my real job, I'm a cook. I'm just a line cook, you know, at a restaurant. So when I'm not doing wrestling or I'm not doing that, I'm just trying to find something to do with my time, keep my hands busy. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of hot, it's September here in Florida. It's hot here. It's hot inside
absolutely.
the brewery.
Yeah,
here.
definitely.
Now, you said you're a cook. What is like your number one meal that you'd be known for?
Oh man. You know, that's hard because I love to cook like so much different stuff, but...
If you were trying to impress somebody, what meal would you cook for them?
I really like BBQ Chicken.
Okay.
Right? So throw some BBQ chicken on the grill, and I do a vegetable... like a stir fry, you know, carrots, broccoli, mushrooms, onions, like the whole nine, all of them, just throw them in there. And that's kind of like my go-to because it's a healthy meal, but also it's one of the things like taste the best.
It's barbecue chicken, right?
Yeah, barbecue chicken, right? So, you know, but just to scratch the surface, that's one of my favorite things to do, you know?
Okay.
I'm not much of a baker. You know, I don't really do desserts other than like milkshakes or something like
something
that.
Simple,
you know,
right?
something simple,
right.
You know what I mean? But cooking is, you know, I've been doing that since maybe 12 years now.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, just a little longer than I started wrestling, so.
Sweet. So you made this whole outfit.
Yeah.
I mean, this is pretty sweet. I mean, it's got
Thanks.
the spikes. Hold on,
Yeah.
let me see that. And it's got, like, I'm not a person that knows too much about, like, what these things are called.
Right.
But the look of it is really damn cool.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. All of this stuff is recycled. So like the studs you see were on a belt that once fell apart, and I just took the studs off and put them aside and ended up keeping them.
Okay.
The spikes and stuff like that, same thing. It was on an old vest that I ended up just taking off and repurposing. But all the stitching is all hand stitching. The lining I've done on the inside, it's all hand stitching. Originally it had 2 pockets, and now it has 7.
Okay.
You know, and I'm the kind of person that if I'm going to do something, I'm going to put the work in. I want it to last a long time. You know what I mean? Like this took me about 42 to 48 hours.
Okay.
Collectively, not consistently.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Obviously.
I hope not.
But yeah, and then the back. I don't know if you can see the back. It was actually originally a Suicide Silence T-shirt that I've had since middle school. And it ripped down the side, and I was like, you know, one day I'm going to use this for something. And I don't know, 13 years later, I was like, hey, you know, it'd be perfect for this vest. That. So.
Yeah. Can you turn around and show the vest
absolutely.
again? Because, like, it honestly looks like it was part of this jacket from day one.
Yes,
it looks
exactly.
Great.
Cool,
I
thank
have
you.
No idea.
Yeah. I mean, I really appreciate that. A lot of work goes into them. This is the most complete one. A lot of people kind of have like one vest for their gear, and I want to have a different vest for every different color of gear, you know. So right now I've got a purple and green one. I'm working on a cheetah print one with like some blue detail and stuff like that. So, you know, it's just something that the hat and the vest. People ask me like, oh, you know, how'd you like apply that to your character? And that's kind of just me. Like I wear the hat, I wear the vest every day. I'm sure at when you saw me at SuperCon,
right.
I was probably wearing it often, you know. So to me, it's not just I'm wear that out to the ring. Like it's got to be comfortable, it's got to be functional, you know, and it's got to look good, right? If you're putting all the work in, it's got to look good.
Right.
So yeah.
So for those that don't know, well, probably nobody knows unless you were there, but last week we were at Florida SuperCon, and we got together and we did like a little promo action together.
Promo
It was
action.
like we were with Ozzy Killmeister, and we
Yep.
had a little bit of fun. What is the secret behind, because it got kind of crazy, and the promo was kind of out there,
Yeah.
but what is the secret behind cutting a good promo on your opponent?
Man, that's tough. It depends on who you ask, you know, because I'm the kind of guy, I can go out there and I can shoot a promo and just say, hey, you know, win or lose, I'm going to win because I have a worthy opponent. You know, if I learn 1 or 2 things from our match, then even if I lose, I still win, you know? So, but it also depends on the person. I have a smaller build. I mean, I'm not the smallest guy in the locker room, but I have a smaller build. So I can't just shoot a promo saying I'm going to dominate everybody in the locker room. That doesn't really fit for me, you know? But also, if you go to the character aspect of like FSCW, if you ask me how to shoot a promo as Link, I don't. I just go, hoop, yeah, and that's all I do. So, you know, it depends on, I guess, what character I'm playing and how to portray that character specifically. Yeah.
Right. Now, speaking of FSCW, I did see you wrestle as Link last week.
Yeah.
You also do one of my favorite Overwatch characters in Junkrat as well. Like, how do you have to, like, channel those characters when you go into the ring?
Right. So first of all here, mate,
Okay.
all you need to know that it's not as easy as you think. I remember the first time I did Junkrat, you know, so really quick, as fast as I can tell the story, I wrestled as Link for like 3 years for FSCW. And they asked me, you know, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to keep doing Link? And I was like, I'd really like to change it up just because I mean, Link's a lot of fun, but he's kind of like, he's like a one-note character. Like, I can't speak with him. I can't, you know, all I can do is like pose. And I mean, he's super over and the crowd loves him, but at the same time, like, I wanted like something a little more fun with a little more meat on the bone, you know? Mm-hmm. And so they asked, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, there's this character, Junkrat, you know? And they were like, well, he's missing a leg. And I'm like, well, I can just wear one kick pad, you know? And they're like, oh, well, he has a tire and bombs on his back. And I'm like, well, I'll just take them off before I ride. You know what I mean? So we worked it out to where it fit, and it just so happened we were using Zane Riley. So it was the first time we were going to do FSCW in Raleigh, North Carolina, where Caleb Conley wrestles as Star-Lord for us, and Zane Riley wrestles as Roadhog for us. And that was the first time that we were going to have them at the show. So they were like, we have this guy who's covered in tattoos. He's a big burly dude with a big beard. And they were like, your sidekick character would work perfect for him. And I was like, let's do it. You know what I mean? So the first time I got to wrestle as Junkrat was with the voice actor of Roadhog, Josh Petersdorf, as my manager, which was like super cool because he had never seen an FSCW show. So it's like his first ever interaction with FSCW is he's come into the ring, he's watching it all in front of his eyes, and that was really, really cool. And he was like, man, you make such a good Junkrat, you know? And to hear the voice actor say, like, I made a good Junkrat was awesome, you know? And then we had Zane, and then we did a match where Chris Parson, who's the Junkrat voice actor, and Josh Petersdorf, who's the Roadhog voice actor, escorted both of us to the ring as a tag team, you know, for a match. That was super cool. Chris also was like, man, if I could think of like Junkrat as a professional wrestling, you hit the nail on the head. And to me, it was like amazing, because I was a fan of Junkrat before I even picked the character, and then it was like, you know, meeting all of these awesome people and the voice actors and stuff has been probably like one of the coolest perks of, you know, wrestling for that show. But you know, the first time I did it, I was breaking the Australian character, you know, and the crowd will just look at me like, oh, you know, what's going on, you know? So that was, I think, the biggest challenge is, you know, talking like an Australian character. And then it got to the point where when I would play Overwatch on my video game, like on my Xbox, I'm an Xbox guy, oh no, oh no.
Me too.
Okay, cool, because people are like, oh, PlayStation or PC Master Race. Xbox.
Yeah.
Xbox. So anyway,
hey, play whatever you want.
Yeah, play whatever you want. But this is an Xbox vlog right now.
Yeah.
So so you know, where was I? Xbox. So when I was playing, I would just do the voice, you know. I would just like, take this.
So you were narrating as
I was narrating
you're playing the video
in my headset, and people were like, "Is that the voice actor of the video game?" And they're like, "Yeah, take this, take that, dipstick," you know, and like doing all these things. And to me, like that was just kind of practice. And I did it because it was fun, you know. It wasn't like, you know, I wanted to take the character seriously and stuff. So, you know, it was a big challenge. And also, there's a small little things that you don't think about. Like I wear a robotic arm on my right arm, and I have one kick pad on my right leg, and that throws off your equilibrium. You know, people don't really put that into perspective. Like I was recording videos doing you know, like the lion salt, the landing on my feet, and you could see in the slow motion like one foot would land first because it's heavier than the other one.
Okay.
And it got to the point where I was like, I kind of have to like limit my moveset because I don't want to do something to hurt someone else or myself, you know? Right. So then it was like, okay, now Junkrat has his own moveset entirely, and I would do stuff like the Rolling Thunder to simulate like the Riptide, and like, you know, all of that stuff. So, you know, it's one of those things that you kind of have to keep working on it and keep working on it and keep putting into it. And the more you put into it, the more you get out of it, and then the more the fans appreciate it, you know. You know, like I said, as Link, I can just go, hup, yeah, you know, but as Junkrat, I can shoot a whole promo and just be, you know, making a, can I curse?
It's YouTube, go for it.
Okay, or YouTube. I can be making an ass. It wasn't even the biggest curse word in the world, but I can be making an ass out of myself as Junkrat, and the fans are just into it. They don't care, you know. I'm lying right to their face, and they're just like, oh, it's Junkrat, you know. So, and that's a really fun character to play, but it gets complicated because then they're like, well, wrestle as Junkrat and Link. And then so I'm like tagging in the beginning of the show and then doing a singles match at the end of the show. But one thing I'm really proud of, to wrap up my long-winded answer, one thing I'm really proud of is, you know, I had one girl meet me as Link. And she was like, oh, I'm a huge fan. And I took a picture with her, and she showed me on her calf, she showed me this really cool like stained glass window of like Princess Zelda and Link together. And it was like super dope. And I was like, oh, I have a tattoo too. So I pulled my shirt down to show her my Legend of Zelda shield, and she was like, wait, you are the Junkrat? And right there I was like, I wonder how many people don't realize
Right.
that I'm Junkrat and Link, you know,
Okay.
because when I'm Link, my chest is covered and my long hair is down. But when I'm Junkrat, my chest is visible, but I have a wig on.
Right.
So people like, you know, and I feel like that's kind of a big perk to me. Like people can't even tell the difference between the two. You know what I mean? And you know, that's awesome to me. That's where I put in that extra work and it's paying off. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Now, speaking of not knowing who you're going to be, you know, you were Link, you were Junkrat, you know, poor Black Widow has just had such an awful time.
Terrible
lately.
time.
I mean, her movie just wasn't well received.
Yep.
And then Mickey Mouse came out and wanted to introduce her to the Kiss My Hiney Club.
It's the Heine Club. Yeah.
Wait. That sounds familiar.
I may have been that Mickey that you saw.
So, is everything okay down there?
Yes, everything's okay.
Everything's okay.
Everything's good. Yeah,
Okay.
the Mouseketeers are doing good. Yeah, that was kind of a last minute thing. They were just like, we need someone to be Mickey, and I was like, absolutely. Like, I'd love to be able to play another character. You know what I mean? Now, Mickey's actually the 15th character.
15 characters.
15th character I've portrayed in professional wrestling. There's like 11 for FSCW, and then like including Aron Agony and like Proctor, and
Okay.
like, you know, some stuff that I've done on the side too. But you know, and I do my best that all 15 are drastically different from each other.
You
know
have
what I
a
mean?
lot of personality.
Yeah, you think so. There's a lot going on in the head, but you know, to me, it's like I try to show that range. You know what I mean? It's not just give me an outfit and I'll wrestle as Aron Agony. You give me an outfit and I'm going to wrestle as that character specifically.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, and that's, to me, it's, I mean, everybody has their, you know, everybody has their things, and that, to me, that's one of them. You know, so.
Well, you got quite the ovation when you came out, walking like Mr. McMahon.
Yeah, with the $1 billion strut.
The $1 billion strut.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Black Widow,
You're gonna give me the respect that I deserve. Hilarious.
Classic
man.
moment.
And you know, all of that was their idea. They, you know, they got the suit. They had all the, you know, all of the vocal parts down.
Okay.
It was my idea, so I'll take credit. It was the Kiss My Hiney Club was mine.
Okay.
And they were like, "That's hilarious. We got to do that," you know. And then from everything else was just, you know, FSCW. We get together and we formulate plans, and sometimes everybody kind of just adds their seasoning to it, and it's a blast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now that we talked plenty of cosplay wrestling, I want to get back more into a little bit of pro wrestling.
Okay, cool.
And like one of the things I love, and I think what's going on now in professional wrestling more than anything, are factions.
Right.
There's a lot of factions going on.
Absolutely,
here.
yeah, definitely.
You know, if you had to invade any wrestling company and you had to bring 3 wrestlers of your choice from any time period with you, who would you bring along to make an invasion with?
That's such a hard question. Okay, man. You know, I think me, Shawn Michaels, and Kevin Nash as the 3 dudes with attitudes
Okay.
would be pretty awesome.
Okay.
But I would be like the whipping boy, you know, like kind of like the X-Pac of the
I
group.
wasn't going to say the name, but...
well, you know,
Right.
not that I.
right.
It's the way he was booked. It's
Right.
not my
Yeah,
fault.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? But all due respect,
All due
Xbox,
respect.
seriously. But 2-time Hall of Famer. But yeah, I guess maybe that, just because I feel like I'm the kind of guy who, me compared to those guys, I'm gonna look ridiculous. I'm gonna look goofy. I'm gonna look silly, and I will play off of that all day. You know what I mean? Like, I am not the serious one of this group at all. Or, I mean, who wouldn't want to be part of the Bullet Club, right? I mean,
Okay, right.
So just putting that out there. You know,
Putting
me
it
and
out
Chris
there.
Bay, we're cool, but you know, they're still reviewing my application.
That's
so,
okay. You got
just
to put it
saying.
out in the universe.
Yeah,
right?
you know, never know, one day. But yeah, I love the stuff that AEW is doing with all of their groups, and like, you know, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt. I don't know if they're doing stuff now, but they were. I think that was like my favorite trios group that they
Right,
kind of had.
They're all still together, and like Christian's kind of with
Yeah,
them
kind of doing some
now,
stuff with them,
like that.
and so if I had to wrestle against a trio, I would say like those are the 3 guys I
Okay.
would, because you have Kevin Nash, Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, Shawn Michaels, and me and Marco Stunt.
Can I
You know
tell
what I
you,
mean?
I would love to see an Aron Agony versus Jungle Boy match.
Hey, I would
Right?
absolutely love to have an Aron Agony Jungle Boy match. I think we could kill it, but you know, one day.
Right.
Like you said, put it out there in the
Put it out
universe.
there in the universe,
and we'll see
right?
what happens. Yeah.
Oh, it is hot here in Florida in
It is
September, right?
roasting.
It is roasting. Like,
roasting.
we're just dripping over here.
Yeah. Ignite.
Yeah, Ignite. We
So it
are
was on fire.
Literally
On fire.
here. It is-
Literally.
You know, We got beer back here brewing.
The beer's brewing. It's gonna be cold though. Don't worry.
Yeah, the beer is cold. The beer is cold here at the Walking Truth.
Yeah, the weather's hot. The beer's cold.
Hot. What do we have to look forward in the future from Aron Agony?
Hey man, I'm trying to do so much stuff. New gear. You know, for the last, I mean, no one was really doing anything with COVID.
Right.
You know, for the last year and a half, 2 years, not really anybody's doing anything. And for a short time before that, I was exclusively with FSCW just because I was working full time. So it was like really hard for me to get days off, and you know, the vacation time, I couldn't just schedule a day off. I had to use vacation time.
Right, okay.
So I would use that for FSCW. So I kind of took almost like 3 years, 4 years off of like the independent wrestling scene.
Okay.
So now I'm just trying to like, you know, hit the gas, pedal to the metal, you know, give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Ooh.
Let's not get copyright stricken on that.
Yeah, exactly. I had to sing it. I had to say it so that Metallica won't come after.
Right, exactly.
We're not Napster, so I think we're okay.
Well, I don't know. It's still YouTube. I've got a couple of those on there.
But yeah, you know, I'm trying to do as much as I can. Ignite was the first company that I reached out to, and I was like, hey, I'd really like to be a part of your show. And they were just like, hey, come by. And you know, so I'm doing that a lot. I'm trying to get out there and do more stuff. So if you're seeing this and you want to book me, go for it. Aron Agony is on Instagram, Oh the Agony. I'm on Twitter, Oh the Agony, and my Facebook is Everything Aron Agony. So if you want to book me, contact me through those channels.
There it is. So you reached out to Ignite, Kim, the owner here.
Yeah.
She knows some good talent when she sees it.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. You know, and I'm happy she gave me the opportunity. The show has been a blast every time I've done it. I'm happy to keep coming back, and I hope to continue to find more indie shows that I feel this way about, you know, and I want to get out there and I want to work more, and hopefully, I don't know, you'll see me on a TV, a national gimmick somewhere, you know what I mean?
Right, that's what we're talking about, that's the plan.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, Impact's doing a lot of cool stuff now, ROH doing cool stuff, NWA is doing cool stuff, AEW is doing good stuff. I don't know if I fit the WWE mold, but I mean, I'd be willing to go anywhere that will have me, so, yeah.
Hey, you know, there should be no, you know, setbacks for anybody, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
You are who you are, and you do what you can, and I mean, why not? Why not WWE,
yeah, absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
Why not AEW? Why not TNA?
Yeah, there
why
you
not?
go. All of them.
Why not? Aron Agony.
All of them. I'll be the first guy to do all of them at once.
I like that.
Yeah.
At once.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a goal.
Hey, the way things are going nowadays with guys showing up on different shows.
Well, you know, when you make a bucket list,
right,
you got to have like the really, really hard ones to achieve. So,
right,
I mean, if I do all 50 or I do all 49 except for 50, I mean, I still win in my book, right? So, yeah, you know, that's the goal.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, you hear it here for the first time. That's the goal.
Let's do it. I want to see Aron Agony on all those shows.
Yeah, the Forbidden Door. The Forbidden Door, Aron Agony.
Absolute 100% Forbidden Door.
Throw up the other A.
Oh, let's throw it up right there, right there.
Bam. I did it for the Acclaim, just saying.
For the Acclaim?
Before the Acclaim.
Oh, before the Acclaim.
Yes,
okay.
I've been doing it since 2012.
Okay, so before
them. But they can use it. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. I give them permission.
Max Castro's going to cut a rap on us.
Yeah, he can go for it. I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, come on, bring it on.
Bud. Make me relevant. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the word.
And I promise not to get offended by the rap either.
Oh yeah, who would?
Right? Well, some people do. You know. Well. Anyways, Aron Agony, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man.
It's been a lot of fun.
It has been a lot of fun, man. Thank you so much.
And guys, if you like interviews like this with Aron Agony, make sure you stay tuned in here to Toned In Entertainment for future videos. Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Go now. Do it now.